All right, hello and welcome to another Expert Insight interview. My name is John Golden from SalesPOP Online Sales Magazine and Covera, formerly Pipeliner CRM, joining you as usual from a sunny San Diego. And today I'm delighted to be joined from Chicago, Illinois by Ganzorig Ulziibayar. How you doing, Ganzorig?
Thank you, John, for having me here today. I'm good.
Yeah, and this is a unique one for us. You grew up herding on the Mongolian steppes, the same landscape that produced history's most effective strategists. You became a CEO at 27, built and led companies as founding chairman. You've spent 2 decades teaching strategy. You founded the World Financial History Museum, which has over 1,000 artifacts spanning 2 millennia. Alongside your business career, you pursued 15 years of independent research into subconscious foundations of strategic judgment. You're the founding chairman of the Mandal Financial Group, a World Economic Forum Young Global Leader, and the author of Strategy is Attitude, the Missing Half of Strategy. Wow. Do you have spare time at all? No?
Oh no, I like everyone else. I have good weekends and
Yeah.
yeah.
So let's talk about this. Growing up herding on the Mongolian on the steppes, right? Um, how
Mm.
did how did those early experiences how did they shape your concept of strategy long before you studied it formally? I mean, how did that influence, or what were you learning from that experience that has really influenced your thinking on strategy since?
Yeah. So, nomads helped to create some of the largest empires in the world last
Hmm.
3,000 years, like China, nomads, nomadic warriors from Mongolia, like Genghis Khan. Maybe some of our listeners would already know.
Hmm.
So Genghis Khan, like him, many strategists, they unified China and established modern day Russia, India as we know today. And many of the large empires actually founded by the strategists, just like the way the modern big corporations are founded by the strategists of our own time, like Steve Jobs or Elon Musk, Jeff Bezos. So yeah, strategist, in my opinion, is a very important figure, in a human society. But then nobody actually talks about it. It's strategies now. It's like a process. It's some tools and frameworks, some blue oceans. All those things. So why the steppe produces disproportionately large number of strategists is, I think, it's about the felt responsibility. It's like because when I was like 5 or 6 years old, I started riding horse and then herding animals 10, 15 kilometers away from home alone.
Hmm.
So it's like you're herding your animals, your assets, right? And you're protecting them and you're constantly exposed to a risk. Nobody's there to help you. There's no this I like to say boxed environment, right? So it's like
Yeah.
a protected little shell that we have. So our kids are not exposed to risks. So yeah, I think this felt responsibility is one of the key components in when you want to become a strategist. So
Hmm.
yeah, I think that's how it relates to my
Yeah.
experience.
No, I would agree to you, and I think, I mean, yeah, because strategist is a term that's thrown around a lot, but it's kind, as you said, if you ask 10 different people for their definition of what a strategist was and what they did, you'd probably get 10 different answers.
Yeah.
And so I think it's underrated, but also ill-defined often. But let's talk a little bit about on the attitude. So you became a CEO at 27, right?
Yeah.
How much how much did attitude help you, as opposed to, obviously 27, your experience is limited or whatever, and your thing. So how did attitude help you overcome maybe some of what people would consider the deficiencies you didn't have at the time?
Yeah. So thanks for this question. Actually, John, you are one of the few experts who would understand strategy at its fullest because you are one of the foremost sales experts. And then I think from business domains, sales is one of the very few domains that strategy is like it's revealed, right?
Hmm.
Because strategy is always revealed by or proven by its results.
Yeah.
So in sales, you just cannot, window dress results. Just speaks for its own. So thanks for this question. Uh, I think during my last 20 years experience as a CEO, I grew to become sort of a turnaround specialist.
Mm.
So I turned around many companies, mostly as a startup or a big corporations, multi-billion dollar banks in trouble. So because there are so many pressures, like there's a bad reputation, financial statement is wrong,
Mm.
employee morale is low, customer loyalty declined, everybody's running away. So you need a tremendous subconscious power to overcome all those challenges, because the pressure is so much that you could break down anytime, so I quickly realized these strategy frameworks are all fine, but strategy academics, they no longer talk about the strategist herself, right?
Yeah.
The human mind, because
Hmm.
human mind is malleable, but then it's flexible, but at the same time, that means it's
Yeah.
vulnerable to outside attacks, all those corporate politics, these pressures, those challenges. So I quickly realized strategy was more about like subconscious level attitudes or orientations rather than these frameworks.
Yeah.
And this felt responsibility that I felt growing up since I was a child, since I was a little child. Uh, I think it sort of revived or awakened inside me when I became first CEO, because I
Hmm.
started trying all those of experimenting all those different frameworks, those courses, attended those executive courses, etc. But then it's really about your subconscious attitudes, right? Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think, no, and I think that's really key. And as you said, I think strategy is often looked at as a process, right? And as you said, there are different models and frameworks you can use, and all of that thing. But at the same time, if say, for instance, like say with some of the companies that you had to work in that were distressed or maybe they're having problems, part of the strategist's job also, as you said, it's attitude related, because part of it is you have to convince people, you have to introduce maybe unpopular ideas. Maybe you have to basically say, I'm sorry, your baby is ugly, and but we can but we can fix it. But
Yeah.
things that it's much easier to hide behind the process than it is to really confront the other part of it, which is the more difficult part, I think.
Yeah, just like sales, because sales is
Mhm.
one of the strategic domains. And
Yeah.
I also wrote a book on sales 5, 6 years ago. So, I mean, just like sales, I think it's everything you do as a strategist is about selling your ideas, your visions, your
Hmm.
beliefs, your products, to your employees, your shareholders, your most importantly, your customers. So people, last 4 million years, the evolution granted us this ability to read one another subconsciously at
Mm.
an instant, 1/10 of a second, right? So we are designed to gauge this threat, or is it an amicable
Hmm.
relationship as soon as we see each other. So you would know that. And in sales, the sales is closed before it even starts, right? I
Yeah.
tell all my salespeople, I mean, no matter how much memorization you do about the product features, etc., but it's about your subconscious, because your customer, the moment he or she sees you, the sales is done, right?
Hmm. Yeah.
So strategist, I think it's not about, because these modern business schools is mostly talking about like how to influence people, motivate people, inspire people. But I think it's like maybe 90% about changing yourself.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
about yourself. So you really gotta be this like benevolent, good willing, like a positive human being trying to make a change to help the lives of your customers, your staff, your shareholders. You come across such a person and they would sense it, right? So
Yeah.
that's what I have witnessed throughout the last 20 years. And this is stronger than like a 20 or 50 strategy frameworks combined, actually.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, and that's what I was just writing it down here, because no, I totally agree with you, and I think one of the biggest failures that happens is self-awareness, and be, as you said, because you need to be able to live this, and then so you need to be able to see how you are perceived and how you operate and stuff. So there's a level of self-awareness if you want to be a good if you want to succeed in anything, in sales, in strategy, whatever, knowing yourself is the starting point.
Yes, know thyself, from ancient Greek inscription, right?
Absolutely,
Yeah,
absolutely, and it just shows you the wisdom of the ages. You see, I have to say, not to go off topic, but I always laugh sometimes when people, and especially younger people, they'll say, "Oh, I can't stand history's boring. I don't like history. I don't want anything like this." And I would say to them, "Well, you know, it's the easiest way to learn about what your future might look like is by studying history, because the lessons of history tend to repeat, maybe not in the same way, but in different ways. But if you ignore it, and it's the same, and I think it's the same in business too, is that you have to do the work first, and you have to study things first, and then make your recommendations."
yeah, exactly. As John, you discussed during one of your podcasts, for example, AI is never going to replace humans, I mean,
Mhm.
because
Yeah,
humans are cheap supercomputers, actually. We have 8 billion of them. So it's about how to utilize human subconscious powers, not
yeah,
about. So AI is just a tool. Humans have not changed. Humans, there hasn't been just enough time for us to evolutionary
yeah,
change, into something else, something like a monsters or some retards. So yeah, we are
yeah.
here. We'll be here. AI is just a tool. So
So
yeah.
explain to me, because for some people, like, they won't understand that when you say strategy belongs in the unconscious mind, which, or the subconscious mind, rather than the
Yeah.
unconscious. Sometimes it's in the unconscious one too,
Yeah. Yeah.
but in the subconscious mind. And as you said, that's not something really AI can really tap into right now, because the subconscious mind, and we're humans, so all sorts of craziness goes on that's not, you couldn't pattern match if you tried.
Yeah.
But talk to me a little bit about why you believe strategy belongs in the subconscious mind, especially for somebody who might be going, "Huh?"
Yeah, sure, sure. Yeah, this is a new idea. Yeah, of course.
Mhm.
So, speaking of a difference between conscious and subconscious, I think we should really look at these as a separate brain processes. So, conscious
Mhm.
mind, if we will, is a really slow and everyday use of a brain. But subconscious is for complex tasks. So last 70 years, strategy was really treated as a process belonging to conscious mind.
Yeah.
So if I would explain, it's like executive retreats or brainstorming sessions or SWOT analysis or these data mining, data analysis, those executive committee meetings. So these are all conscious mind processes. Just remember how easily we are tired after 2 hours long executive committee meeting, right? So just like that. But then subconscious mind is vastly superior. It's like a supercomputer. The memory, there's an endless memory, and the processing power is hundreds of times more compared to the conscious mind. So conscious mind is like a computer from 1990s. Subconscious mind is a supercomputer we own. And
Mm.
then many of our problems actually stems from the subconscious, like
Yep.
cognitive biases, those being discovered lately, and emotions like anxiety, depression, stress, fear, and survival instincts like these egocentricity, selfishness, anti-teamwork, those types
Mm.
of things. So subconscious until now has been studied as something anti-strategy,
Yes.
something that diminishes your potential. But then at the same time, it's like a wild horse, wild stallion. It you can once tamed, you can use it in favor of strategy. Why? Because strategy is always about dealing with immense complexity.
Yeah.
So for that degree of complexity, conscious mind is not enough. That's why like 99% of the strategies around the world, Fortune 500, all the big companies or governments, big infrastructure projects, they fail because they are just plans on paper. They are not
Yeah.
strategy. They are just corporate politics. So
Yeah.
that's why I'm proposing subconscious mind as a rightful place for strategy formulation and strategy execution. Just like in sales, right? Sales is done through subconscious, your feelings, your
Mhm.
understanding of the customers. When you do customer analysis, you just read some reports, but then that's not enough. You have to feel. the
Yeah.
customer's emotions. So that's subconscious. So we've been already using subconscious mind effectively in sales, in different businesses, but then not in strategy as per se, you know.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. No, and I would agree with you. And I think you're right because I think it's easy to do strategy on paper, to be honest, and it's easy to do PowerPoints or whiteboarding exercises or however you do them today. The harder part is when you get down to actually when you get down to, as you said, the subconscious, because you need to stress test these ideas. You need to, and you need to look at them. And sometimes, as you know, Ganzorig, sometimes you need to challenge your own thinking. So you need to sometimes you need to come up with illogical and unreasonable things just to stress test what you're doing. And that you can't capture that on a paper.
that's right. Exactly. Exactly. So I think, and then my book, we actually discovered the ways how to actually activate subconscious in your favor and then
Mm,
overcome all those negative, because there are negative elements
sure,
or
sure, sure.
negative forces within subconscious, like anxiety, emotions, survival instincts, and cognitive biases. So,
Mhm.
how do you overcome those negativities and turn your subconscious into this tremendous force in favor of strategy? Is the use of attitudes.
Mm,
So we actually, through meta-analysis, we discovered three attitudes, namely the giving attitude and customer perspective attitude and the productivity attitude. And once these three attitudes are awakened, because everybody is born with these attitudes
yeah,
from the very beginning, once these are activated, all the good things, good traits, admirable traits just emerge on their own, like public
mhm,
speaking, confidence, discipline, grit, self-efficacy, all those things just just they are just symptoms of these three attitudes, right? So
yeah,
last 70 years, psychology has always also been discovering through leadership, performance, and like success studies, researches, some 200 admirable symptoms of a people. But then no need to chase those 200 things. Just
mhm,
become a giver, just become a perspective taking person, just become a productive person. Then I mean, you're already born with this, and then
yeah.
strategy is within reach.
Yeah, and
That's the
you know
organ.
what's
Yeah,
missing. You know what's missing from them is the it's all about me and what am I getting out of this and all of that. You know, so the
yeah,
ego and you know the kind of like focus on yourself and the this is all a means to me getting something
yeah.
that's absent from those three.
Yes, because as soon as you think about yourself, like you start every sentence with I when you
Mhm,
think or when you talk, then strategy is never possible for you, because strategy is always about other people, your followers, your
mhm,
country, your community. So as a strategist, you protect them, you fight for them, you actually do something good for your people. So egocentricity and selfishness, there's no for such a person there's no place in strategy. Just like team
mm,
sport, we
yeah,
like to play basketball, right? So a selfish player would, what he or she would cause to the team, we all know. So
yeah.
strategy is a team sport actually. So
Yeah, and tell me one interesting thing is, and you pronounce his name correctly because I'll get it wrong. Is Genghis Khan? How do you
yeah,
has what's the proper pronunciation?
Chinggis.
Genghis. Okay, so
Yes,
so he obviously a phenomenal strategist, but he also instilled strategy in others so that it would last beyond him, which is something that you don't tend to hear a lot from great leaders in history. You know, especially military leaders, you don't hear a lot about them actually making sure that after they were gone that other people knew how to carry on and like be strategic the way they were. So that's very different.
yeah, exactly. So I think 20 years ago, I was thinking about doing Harvard MBA. And then my question was, what's the purpose of Harvard Business School?
Hmm.
What is MBA? Master of Business Administration. I mean, that's a politically correct, like three words. But then
Yeah.
what exactly it's about? It's about strategists, right? So
Hmm.
you become a CEO, CFO. What do? You do strategy, nothing else. So, okay, school for strategists. But are they successful? and not seems not that much. Maybe the success rate is no more than 20%, no more than 30%, right? So I started wondering who actually then was successful in preparing strategists, and then I found Genghis Khan,
Hmm.
because it seems like everybody he touched become like a world level strategist, like because he created world conquering generals out of just ordinary nomadic
Hmm.
herder people, right? So
Yeah, yeah.
so I started studying Genghis Khan and about his generals almost last 20 years, and it's a very fascinating historical lesson. And I also admire your interest in history about
Yeah.
your earlier remarks. Very good. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I do, and I think it's amazing when you look back, because I mean all the lessons are there. I mean they're
Yeah.
there if you care to uncover them, and it just shows you that there's the depth that, as you said, when you can take a nomadic farmer or herder from the steppes and turn them into a great military leader or great political leader in the future, you've gotten something right.
That's right. That's right. Yeah. His system was based on I would say, let me use a little bit wrong word here, ruthless meritocracy. So he
Yeah.
would demote his only brother
Mhm.
and then would promote an enemy slave soldier to lead
Yeah.
army as a general. So I
Mhm.
mean, who else is
Yeah.
like that? So
Make make
strategies,
make for
yeah.
interesting family gatherings then, huh?
Yeah, that would
Why am
be.
I not the general? Come on. Yeah, because well, look at you. That's why.
Yeah. It's because
And
that's, I mean, to be like that, you have to have this servant
mhm.
leadership orientation, and that comes from this giving attitude.
Yeah. So tell me a little bit, just in finally, I mean, your strategy school. You're trying to make strategic thinking available at scale. Tell me a little bit about that, because yeah, because it is true. A lot of people think, strategists. They think it's an exclusive realm that's reserved for, I don't know, people who like got huge amounts of experience and they've done all this, and I think in many ways people are intimidated by the notion of, like, could I be a strategist? Could I get involved in strategy?
That's right. Yeah, that's right. Because we are born to do strategy. Like
Mhm.
last 4 million years, the the day we decided to hunt that huge woolly mammoth was the day the strategy was born.
Mm.
And
Yeah.
because I was a misfit in the modern education system, I really hated like math and all
Mhm.
those literature, all those lessons. So later on, I realized that because all the time I thought there was something wrong with me, right?
Right.
I was a bad guy. I was the dumb kid, right?
Mhm.
But then later on, I realized that there was nothing wrong with me. It was about the system, because system was like a meat grinder. They
Yeah.
would just they wouldn't just the system doesn't like colors,
No.
you know, like individualism. So
No, no, no.
this my strategy research led me to believe that everybody's born a strategist, thanks to evolution, thanks to our brain, which is same in everybody, every race, young, old, woman, man. So I really wanted to create this new education system in the world to awaken these strategic capabilities in everybody. Because when you don't have money, when you
Yeah.
don't have technology, when you're not born into riches, when you don't have this positioning advantage, right? Then you are left with only one thing: your brain, your
Yeah.
mind.
Yeah.
And your brain is designed to produce just one thing, a strategy, because
Mhm.
strategy is the only means that humans have that can produce disproportionate results when you have nothing.
Mhm.
So yeah, I really wish that soon we will come up with this new curriculum to
Yeah.
teach or to awaken strategy
Mhm.
that is actually stripped chopped by this modern education system and this
Yeah.
modern social media contents, which most of them are very wrong and misleading and creates wrong
Yeah.
biases, right?
Oh, yeah.
Prejudices. So
It,
that's
no,
my
it is.
name. Yeah.
It is, and it teaches, and it tries to convince people that there's an easy button for everything. There's a shortcut for everything.
Yes.
Just here's 10 prompts, and you will
Yeah.
now be the world's greatest strategist of all time.
Yes. Yes. Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But this is fantastic. Thanks so much, Ganzorig, for all this. All of the Ganzorig's information will be below this video. But before we go, please do
Thank you,
remind
John. Yeah.
people about what you do.
Yeah. So I'm a strategy author. I'm the chairman of Mandal Financial Group. We are Central Asia focused insurance and capital markets group. I was the CEO last 20 years. Started as a ordinary staff, rose to a paid CEO position, and then founded my own business. Yeah.
There
Thank
you
you.
go. That's a perfect strategy. See, there's a great strategy, career strategy there for you.
Yes.
Yeah,
Thank you, John.
yeah,
It was my pleasure
yeah. Thank you. Go
for being your
fantastic.
host.
I love it.
So
Thank
yeah.
you, and thank you for watching and listening. And I'll see you all again very soon. Thank you.